The views shared on this program are not necessarily the views of DBN, its sponsors, or affiliates. DBN nor the Logic Based Collective can be held responsible for anything taken personal when you could have just changed the station to begin with. If you're offended by world class conversation that will move you to better yourself, you should leave while you have the chance. We're pros, but we're not like pros. In the event that you'd like to sue, we have no money, but if you drop your job's number in the comments, we will call them and let them know that you'll be out on an all expense paid vacation into your feelings.
Yo, what's good? What's good? It's a Logic Based Collective. Take me down a little bit. It's a Logic Based Collective. We are here. We're in the building, of course. We're super late, so please forgive us for the time. But we are here. To everybody listening on that app, appreciate y'all. Hope y'all rocking that music. For everybody that's just joining, we got a lot going on today. So, stop all the people from doing their clapping. So, so yeah, so it's a Logic Based Collective. Obviously, all of our compadres are not here, so we're missing KJ, we're missing TW, Ryan. Definitely waiting for y'all to get back. Hopefully, see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We're not gonna be able to say that if we don't get on the good foot. But yeah. So here we go. For everybody listening on Digital Boombox Network. Appreciate y'all. Everybody listening on Soft Spoken Private TV. Everybody listening on the Logic Based Collective. We are here. I don't have the flex or the clue bombs. You know what I'm saying? Like, but we here, and before we even get into what we talking about tonight, yo, let's go around the room. We just want to know how everybody is doing. How are you really doing? And how was your weekend? So we're going to start, as always, with the chivalry. Siobhan is going to start us off. Go ahead.
Hey there. Hi. So I think last week I was in here a little down and out. I mean, if you can hear it in my voice, I still got a little something going on. But I was down for the count after I left here last week. Had a little bug. But I am feeling so much better.
It's amazing.
So I'm grateful. Even though I'm congested a little, I am grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have had a decent week. I didn't have to finish my work week, so that was nice. Been able to rest and try to recoup as best as I can, which kind of sucked because it's a holiday weekend. So like I was kind of in the house a lot more than I wanted to be.
Gotcha.
But I'm back.
And that's a good thing.
It is.
So it sounds like it's a great weekend. I mean, like, other than having to be at the house.
Yeah, it was good.
Against your will. It's like,
I felt like a prisoner. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, I want to go outside, but it's all good.
Hey, how was your weekend, bro?
Hey, I'm good. I can't really complain. Weekend was good. I preached yesterday.
Okay.
So
What was the title of the message?
It was I'm naked and afraid.
Oh, see?
Okay.
I feel like you should have brought this up before we got on the air.
I know.
I wanted to hear this. Yeah, like this. It's like, okay.
This is interesting. So I'm naked and afraid, basically coming out of Genesis and talking about Adam and Eve being caught, basically in the act, and just being in a vulnerable state. Because I think that a lot of times we find ourselves in these vulnerable states where we're caught in the act and we know what people think. We know how people judge. We know how people treat us. And because we are thinking in our carnal minds, we expect God to do the same. And it's just basically showing that even though they were punished for what they did, God also still gave them grace by giving them clothes. Like they lived to be like 600 years old, like 600 or 800. So it wasn't like they had like, you got a whooping. But you were okay. So just showing that God still gives grace to those that need it, and it's okay to be vulnerable because at the beginning they were already naked before they realized they were naked. So that wasn't the problem. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing good. I'm having a good time.
We got to visit that. Y'all don't. You guys probably recognize that that half of our crew is not here, but today we do have a special guest. I didn't get a chance to do this before. I'm about to do an intro. This is dope. So our guest today is somebody who has a body of work out in the I guess you could consider some of it contemporary Christian, contemporary gospel or Christian hip hop, but I'm here to tell y'all that the man that we have in the building's music transcends even just categorizing it or putting parameters on it. There are several songs. You can hear all of his musics. He's known for on every streaming service. There may be some that's not available, but I still got CDs. You know what I'm saying? Like this is this is a man that plays multiple instruments. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't be twerking and playing the flute like Lizzo, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you got, you know what I mean? Like he's like a drum extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? Like lead keyboard extraordinaire. Where you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like he practice like he probably practices bass and guitar and does Indian burns. He's also an elder in the Lord's church. And so you'll be talking about the homie Billy Powell.
Hey,
Definitely glad to have him here.
Welcome.
How was your weekend, bro? How are you doing?
Hey man, that's not to sound churchy, but I'm blessed. I've been chilling, man, just running around, taking care of business, taking care of the munchkins, and doing my thing, man.
Definitely, man. And it's good to hear. It's good to be able to have you here. There's some I don't listen to surprise everybody. There's not a lot of. I'm really selective when it comes to listening to music, particularly gospel music. It's like at one time I really didn't listen to much of it. It's just like a few people, because
Me too.
my opinion on it is just like everybody sort of. It's like it feels like a lot of people are just writing the same song. We're trying to be in this certain lane, and nobody was like really being creative, or just allowing the Lord to to use them in their in whatever their gift was, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like everybody was creating, but they weren't being authentic. Not and you know what I mean? Like and there were some, because we don't get to hear everything, but saying like a lot of like the mainstream stuff. My you know what I mean? Like my personal favorites now is I listen to CCM. But you know what I'm saying? Like it's just worship music in my old age. But there was a lot of the music that you've written was influential to me. Even as a peer, we talked about before he was on camera how much older than me he is. But even as a peer, and you know what I'm saying, like I'm standing on I love the music. I think that you know what I'm saying, like it was always really a fan of what you were doing, but even like for me, when there's an album that he did called The Long Road Back to God. And because it sort of met me where I was at the time, it's always been so even we became ministers and became ordained elders, whatever, and it was there was a song in there that I always listened to for every sermon that I wrote because of what it was saying, and that's I'm available. You know what I'm saying, like I ain't gonna hold you. But you know what I'm saying, like that. You know what I mean, like. But the whole, but the album as a whole, I think, is like one of those. It sort of just transcended. I really listened to that more than anything. Now we're not talking about gospel. It's just, you know what I'm saying. Like it was something that was really effective, and you know what I'm saying. I continue to talk about just over the past few weeks transformative pieces of work, and you know what I'm saying. I think that really, you know what I'm saying, like because what you were doing even up to that point is like it just continued to level up with every project that you did, and so from that on it was like this transfer, like like you can see how people are affected. I can see how somebody would want to come to Christ after listening to these songs, and it it's sort of like realizing what I know, right? So now it's like, oh, I can understand how somebody could listen to a song and get saved without even hearing a sermon, a traditional sermon. So it's some, you know what I mean, like, so it's something that I always really appreciated in your authenticity to not just the music, but to actually live in the life that you're that you're singing about and that you're rapping about and all that stuff. So that's really, you know what I'm saying, like that's really dope. And with that, I just want you to be able to talk about what you have going on this weekend.
Oh man, I appreciate you, man. All these kind words, man. All I can say is to God be the glory, bro. And if people focus on the content remaining the same, you won't worry about the concept. You know, because the concept is always going to change. People are always going to find a new way to make something the thing.
Yeah.
But those of us that believe in the word, we believe that the word is going to stand forever. So if what we do is based on the word, we'll be good. Because that's how you remain relevant. You have to attach yourself to what's not going anywhere.
For real.
You know what I'm saying?
Bars.
So, people, you be hooked up with somebody and you realize like, oh shoot, they not about nothing. They're not going nowhere, and then you gotta try to figure out how to get away from them.
Yeah.
Or get away from a career. Like, dang, like I really made a mistake. But if you, like, anybody who attached themselves to Jordan in the 80s, they good now.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's, you attach what you're doing to the word. When the concept change, if people decide to stop doing podcasts, you're good because you're attached to the word. Because the word is going to light your path. That's what the scripture says. The word be a lamp unto my feet, light into my path.
Yeah.
So if you attach to the word, you're going to be good. If this ain't popping in 2 years, whatever's popping, you'll be able to utilize that because you'll be tied to the word. So that's just my artistry relevancy. I use that as a musician and everything, man. 'Cause I don't got to be the best. I always just want to be relevant. And if I'm attached to the word, God is going to sustain my gift.
Yo,
That was timely. That was.
It really was, and really encouraging. And I think you will be able to identify with what I'm getting ready to say, in that when you're doing something like what you're doing, like your sound, even like the stuff that you're getting ready to put out. It's always it's always something different, but it's unique to you. It's not you trying to be something different for the purpose of gaining. You know what I mean, like, but it's but it's always authentic to you, and it just comes off different because you're comfortable being yourself. But the way that you do it, like the effort that you put in, even like before we got on air and we were talking about what you have coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like you were talking about all the work that you're putting in. And I think it's really dope because, you know what I'm saying, like to have the resolve that you have, because, you know what I mean? Like, because like, I'm gonna be honest, like for me, I'm like, all right, well, I know that, there's a bunch of music out there that I may have put out. I know that, you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna really find, especially in the era that we came up in, nobody was gonna be saying a lot of the things that we were saying in the way that we were saying it, because it wasn't like like I'm Christian trying to do hip hop. It's like, yo, this is really who I am.
Right,
And this is
right,
like,
right.
and this is my music. But it's like, if, you know, and so like for a minute, and I still struggle with this sometimes today, it's like, yo, I don't want to continue to put this out to, you know what I'm saying, like for it to not be heard. And of course,
Right,
like
right.
we're not, you know, like we know the reason that we're doing it for,
Yeah.
but it's like, yo, you know, I've said this before on this very program. I said in the song, like, yo, it's tough when you're at, it sucks when you're at home watching artists that you're better than in the videos or performing on Letterman. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Just because I'm
Yeah,
a Christian, I'm not saying I'm a better man, but some of y'all artists I am saying would make better fans. So you know what I mean? Like, you know, like it's, you know what I mean? Like,
If y'all didn't know, this my favorite rapper.
Let them know.
Dead up. It's just,
man, I appreciate you, bro. Like,
Yeah,
but it's
yo.
like, yo, you know, when you're doing that and you are putting your heart into it, and it's like, yo, I know that what God has given me is not just for the people in my town.
Right.
I know that it's not, you know, and because everybody does, you know, everybody's a artist on the internet, so it's
Right,
hard to really
right.
get, you know what I mean, like, but your resolve is so, you know what I mean, like is so I don't want to say Teflon, but it's, you know, but it's fortified in the word, and you know what I mean, like it, and so like you're just to be able to, you know, to continue going, because I'll tell you right now, bro, this is, you know what I mean, like the work that you've already done is, you know what I mean, like is stuff that, and this is in my opinion, that deserves to be, you know what I mean, like to be heard, like to be, you know what I mean, like there's so many, like there's so much out there that's not even, you know, like does even just in terms of substance, just in terms, yo, but then in terms of quality of music that doesn't, you know what I mean, like, and so it's like, yo, you continue to come out with this, like this work, and it's like maybe we don't know when it's going to be appreciated on the level that it deserves, but you continue to do it regardless, and I, you know what I mean, like, and I appreciate that, you know, that you do that, giving 110%, and still, you know what I'm saying, like, and not only that, you preaching the same, it's like no matter what happens, is like that, like I believe God is not just a saying for you, it's a, you know what I'm saying, it's a lifestyle. So can you just speak to that real quick, like, you know what I mean, like like there's so much word in on the inside, you know what I'm saying, there's so much, so your, you know, just your godly attitude toward what it is that you continue to do.
man, one of the things that I always hold close to my heart is how I interact with people and how people are going to respond to them being in my presence. There's one train of thought of people that always say, you know, you can't worry about what people think, and that's right to a certain extent, you know, on the human side. But then there's what Jesus said when he said, if you've offended the very least of these, you've offended me also. So if you consider that every interaction that you have with people, be it in person or through your gift, is that you're interacting with somebody who may not just have recognized the Christ on the inside of them, but he's there. You'll mind how you deal with them. You'll mind what you put out. You'll mind what you're attached to. You know what I'm saying? All of these things is something that I hold dear to me. So even if I'm creating a song, I won't just say or do anything, because I don't want what's inside of me to offend the Christ that is potentially just not manifest on the inside of a person that's, you know what I'm saying? Every interaction, you won't cuss people out if you act like God is on the inside
That's
of them.
right.
Very true.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
You know what I'm
stop
saying?
midway through it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you're cognizant of that,
Yeah.
you'll mind how you speak to them, even when you are angry or having a disagreement with them. You'll mind you. Would you go to God and be like, kiss my, you know what?
Right.
Shut the.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Would you, if he's saying the least person in the room, you're offending me too. What is that saying to us?
Yeah.
So that ties to your gift, that ties to your preaching, that ties to your interactions at work, that ties to everything that you do. You're doing this as you're just trying to get someone to recognize the Christ on the inside of them, so that they will begin to honor what's on the inside of them. That's what we're trying to get people to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's the approach that I take to everything, and that's one of the things that brought about this season that I'm in, is because when I was in the hospital for those 9 months last year, I was aware, because of how I conduct my life, I was aware that these people are watching me. And they're watching how I go through. They're watching how I react to bad news.
Right.
They're watching how I react to good news. And that in turn inspired people to want to be involved in whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's the key. It's no goodness of my own. It's just the fact that I'm really out here like, God, you got to get the glory out of this somehow, because I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so, you taking me through this, you taking me through this season. These people are watching me, and it even culminated to one night, one of the nurses stopped at my room door and asked me, could she do her, they got the rolling computers all around the hospital.
Mhm.
She said, can I do my work in your doorway? Do my reports? I was like, sure. She was like, if it bothers you, I won't, but every time I come by here, there's peace in here.
Jesus.
So I'd
That's-
like to,
yeah.
if I can just, because I can't get work done anywhere else on the floor on this unit.
Yeah.
But every time I come back here and I come to check on you, and I stop and I'm working, and it's like, oh my God, this is the only area that I have peace. And I was able to witness to her and share my faith with her.
Yeah.
In that moment, for her to say that there's peace where I am, and I was like, that's all we could say is to God be the glory, because Lord knows I was in turmoil
Yeah.
personally,
Yeah.
but His peace was still surrounding me, and that's what it's all about. I realized at that moment when she said that to me, I was like, this is part of the reason why I'm here, why I'm going through this.
That's dope. And I'm glad that you're, that you even said that, because this, because it speaks to the type of godly integrity that we aspire to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in our everyday lives. And it's one thing to be able to
It's
say
hard,
to say
too.
that you want it. Yeah,
Right.
It's
like
hard.
Yeah.
It ain't easy.
Yeah, yeah. But when you're talking about that, and so I think that's where it hit for me. In your music was the integrity behind it, is that you can feel that, and so there's a difference between just being just being I go to church every Sunday. I'm a Christian, and then being someone who carries with them the presence of God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even if for you it's I think back here. Even if for you that's your normal, but it's like, yo, thanks. Yeah, even for you, if that's your normal, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is something that we should all aspire to. And so what I'm saying is that, you know what I mean? Like, we talk a lot here on the show about, iron sharpening iron, us being able to learn from one another and to be able to evolve. And it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's something that, because I know what you stand for, and you know what I mean? Like, and you can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it through, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like in that, but then in conversation, it's it's the same thing. If you're preaching, it's the same thing. And I think that it's important to be able to be around people who inspire you to certain standards in salvation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when you have people that be like, this is like the type of integrity that I want to have. This is the Bible talks about Daniel having an excellent spirit.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, and that is, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, yo, I want to be able to do that, but like now you aspire to that. You learn, you know, like you learn what is it that I need to do to be able to be considered that by, you know, by the Lord. But you don't really know whether or not it's possible. You're just kind of reaching for the stars in your prayers until you meet people that, you know what I'm saying, that are there or that have done it. And it's like, okay, now that this is possible. So I got to go even harder because of that. And so like, you know,
And I'll tell you this, it's hard, but it's easy. If you embrace accountability, it becomes easy. Because the hard part is embracing the accountability.
Yeah.
Once you embrace the accountability, everything that you need to do, once you're willing to hold yourself accountable, you're good.
Yeah.
But the hardest to get. Hold yourself accountable for what you're supposed to do, what you aspire to be.
yeah,
Because there's a lot that comes with accountability. When raising children, it's a lot.
yeah,
When you do it right, you can't just wake up and be like, yeah, I'm a parent. There's accountability. Like, pretty soon, if you have a baby, pretty soon the school is going to be calling for immunization records and stuff. And then you're going to have to go to the doctor and get a physical. You're going to have to maintain, their shots and their this and that. All of these things, you're going to be accountable. You want to be a parent. But when
That's
you do
right.
it right, you're good.
yeah.
Everything else, like I just got a car, and I remember some years ago, I would be nervous every time I had to go get a car because I'd be done did a bunch of bonehead stuff, riding around, riding dirty, no insurance, not
Yeah.
paying my taxes. And it was like a good feeling to go to the dealership and they not have to call me and be like, you owe the town so-and-so
Yeah.
tax. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, oh, because now I'm accountable for my actions. Now I keep my nose clean with the insurance. Now I don't mind riding through the town that I live in. I used to be nervous to ride through Bloomfield because it was like their cops was like just waiting for me. Like, they was like, we're out on the riding dirty patrol tonight. And we got a feeling that tan Explorer is coming through here and he don't got no insurance. And I would get pulled over every time. I would tell my cousin, do not ask me for a ride home tonight. I only ride in Bloomfield during the daytime.
No,
But now I live there.
that is honestly a great feeling. I that speaks to me. Just because like I remember it felt so good. Like when my insurance was right. Everything when the rejections, I didn't have to put the windshield wiper at the right spot so you can't tell it's hard.
Oh.
It's like they pull you over now. You be like,
What?
come on, get it.
Right.
Because you know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm good. Like,
License,
Like, I'm-
registration, sure.
I got some peace about that.
Yeah. But that's because you're willing to be accountable for maintaining what you said you want. You wanted a car, right? These are the things that you got to do to maintain the car.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
To drive legally, you got to do this. Got to have a license to register the car.
Yeah.
Car got to be registered. You got to have insurance. You got to make your, if you got a car payment, you got to make your car payment on time so you don't be parking it at your cousin's house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of that stuff. I went through all of that. But, now it's like, no, you're going to be a man. You're going to be a man. You're going to, your children are watching your spending habits.
Good point.
They're watching how you, if the lights is getting cut off, Daddy, why the lights off? You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you're willing to be accountable, then you'll do what you got to do. You won't have to worry about the small things. The small things become easy, and then you work for the next level of challenges.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like Strong Enough. My song Strong Enough. What got me on here ain't gonna get me on here. I got all this stuff. We
got
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got a couple comments. Anna Sir said, "Hey fam."
Yes, sir. What's good?
Chef Meg said, "Hey, Billiam, I'm mad. I'm late."
Oh,
It's
hey,
Megan.
what's up? What's up? I was like, wait a minute, Chef. Yeah. What's going on? She one of the few people that could call me that.
He like, who was calling me Billiam?
So Meg, since I know that you're watching, I'm just gonna ask you on air if you could send them cookies down to Spot, cause yeah, I'm fat. So
Yeah, I heard about these cookies. Yeah.
we in need, man. But yeah,
Cookies
so,
to the stars.
which we that part. She's fat met Chef Meg's pastry chef to the stars,
Yeah.
Okay.
plural.
She's
So-
laughing. She's laughing right now.
Yeah, man. Like I think what you're saying is so important. Because we have to remember that salvation is free, but it does cost something to maintain it. And just going off to the analogy that you were using, like if somebody gave me a brand new car, I would still be responsible for the insurance. I would still be responsible for the oil changes,
Price
or
is
all
Right.
that stuff. Yeah,
Right.
it's
Still got to
You know
come
what I
and
mean?
pay them
Right.
taxes.
It's like
Right.
it's like, well, we gonna give you a 2024 Audi. Just know that you got to maintain it. Like, so yeah, yo, that's so important. So what we were talking about today is like what is it that
Safe from what?
because yeah, like so two had this line in one of our songs saying after all everybody's saved if you ask them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
Yeah.
it's like what is it that makes what and I'm saying like to make it personal, like what is it that God saved us from? Because a lot of times people just see the finished product. They just see, like where you are today or the things that you're able to do today. Just like, when you practice something and you get nice, it's like all people see is probably like that 5 minutes that you was doing whatever you was doing. They don't see like the hours that go into it. So
Right,
I'm saying like, in terms of like being, being saved, if you all feel comfortable being transparent tonight.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, and we can start anywhere we want. Siobhan does not want to start with her because we already did the chivalry thing. But so you know what I mean? Like, what is it that that makes us like? What are we thankful for? I'll say let's do that. That the Lord saved us from, whether it's 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, where has He brought us from?
I'll go first. So I mean, like, for me, this is, I was very much into smoking, not because like I had the urge to smoke or not because I was trying to get away from my problems. Because a lot of people, they smoke for like valid reasons. What
Hey.
they would say.
What were you smoking?
Weed.
Okay, just checking.
It's definitely not
I don't
crack.
like
I just wanted
Absolutely not.
to clarify. Make sure.
Marijuana.
Okay.
It's legal in Massachusetts. But not. So yeah, I was smoking weed. I never was big on drinking. But I was smoking just to be smoking. Like I didn't really have a reason. Like I know some people like they went through traumatic things and they were using it as a way to cope.
Yeah.
Or people that were using it as a way of an escape. I didn't really have that problem. Like it was in high school. I honestly started smoking because I had an ultimatum with my brother, and he was like, either we smoking together or we fighting. And I was like, all right, I guess so.
Oh.
Like,
Okay.
So yeah,
Hey,
Forced
brother.
into the drugs.
he's a little aggressive.
Oh, Lord.
Right. But yeah, so that's how it started. But I can't really fault him because I had an option to fight him, but I also had an option after I wasn't with him, so I continued to smoke even after that. So I can't really say, oh yeah, it's his fault. If it was him, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't. Who knows? But what I do know is I was smoking every day. Like I was shrinking my savings account to the point where I didn't have money in the savings account. I was a man of the night.
Hold up.
Okay.
Okay.
Not an actual prostitute, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
basically like, but it's basically
So
like
a proverbial
being out
prostitute.
Okay.
That's wild, yo.
But no, like I was out there, like I was battling a spirit of lust, because like I had just got to the point where like it was high school, and high school like it was something that the people around me thought it was good. So like, oh, sleeping with the most girls, doing this, that, and the other, having the baddest chicks, this, that, and the other. Basically, I was doing those things. I never really was big on partying because I had partied from middle school. So by the time I got like 18, 21, like I was all partied out. I'm like, I already know how this goes. I'm all set. But smoking and girls that was my thing. Also like lying. I used to tell people, listen,
Get the devil a run for his money.
Right. You know, they'd be like, Cassidy was like, oh, I can sell ice to a polar bear. Like I felt like I could literally sell ice to a polar bear, and like I still have like the gift of gab now, like, but like I never went into sales because like I don't want to sell somebody something they don't want. However, I had to get to that place. So basically, like I used to use it, like I use lying as a way to get out of trouble. So like, all right, you can catch me, but I'm going to maneuver my way out of this situation with my words.
Wasn't me.
Not it wasn't me. You can't, like, if you saw me, then I'm caught. But if you didn't actually see me.
If there was a loophole, yeah.
If you didn't actually see it, I can work my way around this. Like, I already got this planned out. I thought about it on the way over here. Like, oh, you got, all right. If I say this, you'll think about this. All right, cool. And then I can change the subject here. And then, or, the devil uses this. This is what I used to do. I used to give partial truths.
Ooh.
So so experienced liars know how to lie.
That's a whole lie.
I dated him.
Yeah, experienced liars. Yeah, I'm sorry. But experienced liars know how to lie. So you give a partial truth because if I give you a partial truth because this part is true, and I tell you so many partial truths, you feel like I'm always telling you the truth, and that's how I would get by on things. But what basically ended up happening was I wanted to actually change. I wanted to do something different. One of the biggest things was as Billy's a musician, AJ's a musician, I felt like I could only do certain things when I was playing when I was high, and that offended me because I'm like, why do I feel like I sound good when I'm high, but when I'm not high, I don't sound the same or I don't feel that way. Which kind of tugged at me. Also, my mom caught me. She would have my grandmother come over, so now I'm sick. That's one way to ruin your high. Invite your grandmother over. So she can have a conversation with you.
I want to say with Sharon's in the prayer service show. Like, Dad, yo, it's Wednesday. Like,
mind you, I was at home, so I'm like, oh, it's not even like you caught me outside. Like you caught me. I was sneaking in the house, and then my mom was downstairs. So, but basically, there were things that I was used to and I was accustomed to, but because I could weasel my way out of it, I didn't feel the need to change until like I wanted to get serious with God, because like I'm like, all right, I understand that this isn't what it's supposed to look like. Like I can fake the funk all day. I can make you feel and look. I can look the part. I can tell you what you want to hear. I can do all those things.
So let me ask you a question.
Of course.
Did you think during that time that you would be to the point that you are now before you got, and the reason I'm asking this because like a lot of people in our family like have churches like
Yes.
pastors and you know what I mean, and so it comes with sort of an expectation, but you know what you expect out of your life, and so when you were thinking about getting saved, when you first got saved, were you able to see yourself living that actual life at that time? What is the difference between then and now?
Biggest difference was, my grandmother always told us, I was told all my grandchildren are going to be ministers and pastors and stuff like that. So I had that belief in me. However, the thing that I battled the hardest was lust, because
It'll get you.
Right.
I'm gonna get you, man.
That was the hardest thing for me because I had gone through so many years where I was just sleeping around. I had multiple girlfriends and stuff like that, so it wasn't one, it was another one. Like, so for me it was a tough battle because like it's like, all right, you get saved and it's like, all right, you can't have sexual relations with anybody. Also, masturbation's not good. So like it's like, oh.
Well,
so this is actually why I talk about
One thing at a time, guy.
Lord.
So this is why I tell people I think it's important for us to understand that everything's easier not to do when you haven't experienced it. So like if you go to like Greek mythology, you talk about Pandora's box. It was a lot easier not to commit those things before they opened the box.
Right.
But once you open the box, it's harder to put those. My bad. But once it's open, it's harder to put those things back inside.
Yeah.
So that was something that I battled with. And then like you always talk to your grandmother. She was talking about scripture, and then the scripture that everybody brings up is it's better to burn than to die. Or no, excuse me.
Yeah.
It's better to marry.
Yeah, but it's better to marry than to burn.
Yeah, I said it wrong. My bad.
It is a death because that's the wages of sin. So I got what you're saying. Yeah.
So that was something that I really struggled with, and I didn't know how to kind of get away from it. Like it was a little bit easier because like I'd already stopped smoking, and like the way I did that was like evil communication. Basically, I just kind of separated myself from a lot of people, which was tough in itself, but it kept me out of trouble. So separating made it easier, but you still have the urge. Like even now, like I joked around with, I forgot who I was talking to, but I was like, I smoke so much weed, so now like if you smoked earlier in the day and you get in my car, I can smell you.
What strain was that?
Like I'm like, yo, you smoke that?
That's sticky icky.
Like did a little bit too
The
much,
stickiest.
because of these things, like I think it helped for my testimony. I think it also helps when I go to talk to somebody because then I can talk to it from experience as opposed to what I think. I can give you what I know. Like one of the things I like to tell people is if you want to know if you're addicted to weed, try to stop for a week. And I'm like, usually what
That's
happens
real.
is the first day's easy, the second day is a little rough. The third day, somebody you haven't talked to in weeks or months pops up and says, "Hey, you want to smoke?" Like,
Yep.
Yeah, bro.
which is crazy, like, because I'm like, it happened to me, so I know. But yeah, so it was a tough journey, and I'm still on it.
Yeah.
Lust is still there. I have a wife now, so that helps.
Yeah.
But it's
Always
still
got an outlet.
yes. But there's always a ram in the bush.
Okay.
Snap.
Every night.
Oh, yeah.
He said, "In all temptation, he provides a way of escape."
Okay. Okay.
Oh, we're going up to the mountain to sacrifice.
Well.
Oh, there's a ram in the bush.
Yeah.
So there's still like things I battle with, and then like smoking, same thing. Like I don't really have an urge to smoke, but like sometimes I'm just like, what if, like kind of thing. Like the thought comes in my mind if somebody else is smoking. Or
And it's
something like
it's interesting that you're saying that because we were just talking about the other day how like the Bible talks about that the Lord will provide a way of escape from certain situations. But what we don't think of is that sometimes the way of escape is us not getting into that situation. Like we know that we're not supposed to do it before we go, and so you know what I mean. Like you don't want to wait until you know what I mean. Like I'm gonna wait until. You know what I'm saying? Like we both naked on the bed. I'm getting ready to put it in. You know what I'm saying? Like and then like yo,
That would
Lord
be the
create a way. Like
example.
you know what I mean? Like no, it's like yo, the way was made when the Holy Spirit suddenly said to you, "Don't go." You know what I'm saying? Like
My dad used to say his answer to everything was stay out of compromising positions. No matter what I asked him, that would be like, well,
Yeah.
you know what? Stay out of compromising positions.
yes, sir.
So that mean, and then he would say, you know, it's kind of hard to get shot in a drive-by when you're not on the corner. He was, it would be hard. The bullet would have to have your name on it. Come in the house, go up the stairs into your
I was
bedroom.
wanted now.
Yeah, now it's supposed to hit him. When you're standing on the corner with all of the thugs,
Yeah.
and somebody wants to spray up the block,
Yeah.
Right.
hey, that's a compromising position.
Right.
But it's good to, you know what I mean, like to know, because again, we started off and you were talking about the message that you preached yesterday. So
Right.
for that, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure that they know, but for those that don't know, he's a minister, and so he preached. We're talking about on a Sunday morning. This is something that people are carrying with them for the rest of the week. So it's very important that they get something out of what you're saying. And so we know that you're able to deliver this message, but you also just heard what he was saying about how he continues to make sure that he's not where he's not supposed to be, because even though he may not want this thing, I'm not going to put myself in a position to even do it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a, you know what I mean, like that's a big part of the reason that I wanted to talk about that, because because based on what you said, it's like, yo, you're a minister, but you're still a human being.
Absolutely.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, and so we don't just trust ourselves to do, to be like, oh, well, I'm strong enough to. Nah, it's not. You know what I mean? Like, I'm actually not doing that. And on top of that, I'm gonna shun the very appearance of evil.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
like-
Yes.
Scripture says, "Be not leery of the devil's devices, lest he gain advantage over you." So you have to be aware of what can trigger you. You have to be aware of what the devil can use to try to entice you,
Right.
appeal to your humanity,
Yeah.
and once you're aware of that, you can see him coming. Like he said, you can smell it on somebody. When you've been operating in the spirit of lust, you can tell when somebody entered the room that you can sleep with.
Right.
Yeah. Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to make the decision to be like,
Crazy how
what?
discernment
I'm
works.
Yeah, but like,
You gotta, man, shoot.
there's mad scripture.
Yeah.
I done seen it all and had the opportunity to do it all. It's like, hey, when you decide to be serious about your relationship with God, it's like, yeah, I can see it. I could take her down, but what I'm gonna get out of it.
Yo, and
But
so
another
just
attachment.
as a sidebar, just to remind everybody, you are listening to us on the Digital Boombox Network and Soft Spoken Prophet TV and the Logic Based Collective. Hey, I know you got a couple questions over there, but before we go further, Bill, I want you to talk about your concert series real quick.
Oh,
and
yes.
what's
yes.
happening?
Yeah, man, I appreciate the space. Those that may follow me, or if you don't know anything about me, last year I was diagnosed with blood cancer. I had a rare form of lymphoma, and was hospitalized for 9 months last year. And one of the things that they told me in my treatment was that I was going to need a bone marrow transplant. And so, after I cried a little bit, I just started asking questions, and they, I asked the doctor very plainly. I said, "Hey, so if I was a match for somebody, how you gonna get the marrow?" It was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "They told me in school that the marrow is the brown stuff in the middle of your bone. So if I need a bone marrow transplant, or somebody need my marrow, how you gonna get it?" And he said nobody had ever asked him like that, because people are normally just asking how long they're gonna be down, or stuff like that. I was just like, well, I just want to know how you get the brown stuff. Tell me.
Right.
And he said that it's done through your blood. And so, they take your blood out of one arm, they put it in the machine, and they put your blood back in your other arm, similar to dialysis. And you go home the same day. That's for the donor. And they told me as a black person, I only had a 28% chance of finding a match. And it's the same for Hispanics.
Wow.
And so that means black folk and Hispanic folk is fighting for the same 28% to find matches
Sheesh.
for bone marrow transplants. And so all of the questions that I asked, the hospital ended up putting me in touch with this organization called Be the Match. They're a national bone marrow registry organization, and somebody gone over there.
That's my baby.
And so, and in my talking with them, we ended up coming up with this idea. They want to use my music and my testimony to help boost the donor pool for black and brown people. And so
That's dope.
we're going to be doing what I'm calling the Music and Health Concert Series, and we'll be doing these all over the country. We're launching this weekend. My late wife and I, while I was in the hospital, the Lord told us to start this nonprofit to help people whose lives have been affected by medical issues. And we had an amazing support system while I was in the hospital and while she was undergoing treatment. And we didn't miss a beat. Our mortgage was paid. Our car note was paid. And I wasn't working. I was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for God to come through like
Praise
that
God,
for
man.
us,
Right.
people give up when they deal with medical issues. Just for the sight of not knowing what life is going to be like if they get better.
Yeah.
I don't got my job no more.
Yeah.
They might not have a lot of family. And so we started a nonprofit while I was in the hospital. I did the legal work from my hospital bed.
Wow.
Registered. I got all my notes. We're registered with the state, got our EIN numbers. We're good. Official
That's real business talk. So,
You know what I'm
what I'm
saying?
Yeah.
So they partnered with us to launch this concert series. And so at each event, you'll be able to join the donor pool with a simple cheek swab. And you'll be able to, potentially save a life if you're a match for someone.
That's dope.
And so we're just using the power of music to get people out there
Yeah.
and get the message, get the information out there. The bone marrow transplant can help with leukemia, lymphoma, melanoma, sickle cell, all the stuff that affects the black community that we just run because we have a checkered past with the medical field.
Yeah.
We understand all of the things that and everybody becomes a black historian when it comes to certain things. And it's like, hey, if we're gonna hold on to that, we're gonna die off just the way people want us to, because we don't get the information. I just shared with somebody the other day. They was like, "Oh yeah, we don't want to do. I'm not getting the shot. I'm not getting this. I'm not doing that." And I said, that just boiled down to accountability, because they're telling you that this is worse for people with pre-existing issues. So that means you don't want to get yourself in check. You don't want to check your diet. You don't want to check your, your exercise habits. All the stuff that you're supposed to do to maintain a healthy body, you don't want to do. You just want to live recklessly.
Yeah. And hope for the best.
And hope for the best. So no, you can't enter nothing into your body, because you're gonna check out of here because your life is unchecked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of this is to get the information out there so that we can help people. And so we're gonna do this all over the country. We got and if you want to bring a music and health event to your city, if you're watching, let's hit the email church120music at gmail. We'll come to your city and set up shop. The good thing about Be The Match is they have a field office in just about every major city in the United States.
Okay.
So it's a plug and play situation. Volunteers are already there. Medical personnel they invite out to come and handle the cheek swabbing and all of that. And we can increase those numbers, move that 28%,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
because it's 80 for other people.
That's great.
Yeah. And with that low percentage, even if it doesn't affect you, it's going to affect somebody that you know.
Absolutely.
Right.
As people of color, and so we might be able to dodge a bullet, but it can happen to our children. It can happen to our parents. It can happen to our brothers. I say any, you know what I mean, like somebody in our community, our friends.
Honestly, at 28%,
So-
it's probably somebody you know already.
Yeah,
Everybody knows somebody who had leukemia
Yeah.
or something. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Sickle cell, definitely.
Sickle cell's huge.
I know like 4 people with sickle
Yeah.
cell, and probably more that just ain't said nothing.
Right.
yeah. And so that's why it's this is really important. And so we're kicking off this Saturday. Doors open at 4.
Yes.
The event will start at 5, and the tickets are $30. The VIP tickets are $50.
Yeah, and you get a swag bag, T-shirt, a raffle ticket. I'm giving away a 58-inch TV.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I need it.
Yeah.
yeah, and some car stuff, car floor mats. We got O'Reilly's. They're a sponsor. They're giving away. Yeah, yeah. So just come out. Miranda Curtis is gonna be there. Jabari Johnson is gonna be there. My group from Indianapolis, Randy Weston and Judah Band is gonna be there. My brothers Doobie and Kevin, they're gonna be there. It's up.
Yeah.
One church we making our comeback. You
Yeah.
know.
And
Our
that's-
last gig
that's-
before I went in the hospital was here in Springfield, February 25th last year. We sang, and I went in the hospital that weekend, and then come out. So we ready.
What's the location one more time so we know?
3200 Main Street, Hartford,
All right.
Connecticut, and you can check. I'll have AJ post. There'll be some tickets given away on the radio up here on Saturday morning too.
Okay. Yeah. Definitely give me the information,
Yeah.
Nice.
and we'll
Tell
make
you
sure it happens.
where to listen.
Stuff like things like this is stuff that you want to support, especially having it, with you having broken down like the way, what I'm saying, like that it works. It's something that we all have to collectively do to like to support our community. Like I said, this can affect any one of us on any level, and we never know. And we always talk about the types of changes that need to be made. Some things are never going to change unless we do it. We can't wait for politicians all the time. We can't wait for the higher ups, the people that like the people that make decisions. Like we have to be able to make sure that we set up things, amongst us. We always talk about how it takes a village to, like it doesn't just take a village to raise people. It takes a village to be able to, to maintain it and to uplift.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Affect
there's
change.
a lot of things that can be done if we just decide that we're gonna do it. And I think first of all, to be able to be a part of something that's actually going into something that's going to benefit, even if it's somebody that we don't know, that's benefiting somebody. Like it's a good thing. Not only that, but to be able to only have to pay $30 to go to. Like I'm gonna tell you, I'm keeping it a bean. I'll pay $50. I've paid $50 to be at concerts that I regretted going to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, this is not gonna be the. I'll keep it even realer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm broke. I don't have a reason to not spend $50 to go. You know what I mean? Like to go to a concert. It's like, that's not gonna be the thing that broke me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not, if I can't pay a bill, that's not going to be the reason why. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop going to Sonic 5 times a week. But no, but.
Right.
But, but it's something like we know that. He's talking about where, like you're getting swabs, you find out if you're a match, you could possibly be able to help people, you get the information, and you're getting a really dope concert, something, that's worth being at. And it's the gospel. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, you're also feeding your spirit. And so, like, this is something that we, have to be behind, I think, wherever you're listening from 100%. I don't know if they'll be streaming, or if there'll be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a concert series. You got to pay your money.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, and even, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure eventually, over time you'll be able to, to donate from afar if you don't already have it set up.
Yeah. It's a QR code. If we posted the flyer right in the corner. If you can't be there, you can donate, to the cause, and that'll just help facilitate the other events that we got, coming up. They just defrays the cost of us coming to your city and doing, because we don't have a huge financial backing to pull this off.
Yeah.
But
It's coming.
it's coming.
Absolutely.
And one thing that I will add to this is that this is something that we should do right now while the goal line is here.
Absolutely.
Because we all know in a few years, the goal line is going to get moved. And so it'll be something else that disproportionately affects our people.
Right.
And so while we can get this help and help with these issues, I think we should do that before they push the goal line down here.
Absolutely.
You know, so at least these things won't be an issue. We will have tackled this, and now we're on to this fight.
One less thing to worry about.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
let's get it. You know,
Yeah, we have to, you know. So this is like at one of those points where it's time to, you know, really be able to not just talk about something, but to actually do something about it. Even if you weren't coming to the concert just to come to get swabbed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
we're trying to figure out how to have a station, maybe even people who don't want to come into the event, where maybe you can get swabbed on the outside.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
you know, hey man, I ain't tripping. You know,
yeah.
I'd probably just be like, come on in. That's why they gotta keep me away from the door. My heart be like, yo, just let him in,
Know how
yo,
it is.
just let him in, yo. Don't worry about it.
Hey man,
It's like, yo, it's 500 people here. They ain't paid.
listen, man. I think, you know, there's at some points it's cool to be, you know, I don't want to say cheap, but say be thrifty about some things. And we're talking about helping, being a help to other people. Like, yo, there's never, I don't even tip less than if I really only tip 15% at a restaurant if somebody gave me bad service, because I usually tip 20 to 22%. You know what I'm saying? That's not the tax bracket of it, but I understand those people, like, they're not working for, you know what I mean? Like, so
Right.
much. So it's like, you know, when we talk about you go into a register, they ask you if you want to round up, if you want to donate, or something. I have a hard time not doing it. And so, you know what I mean? We're talking about something that's actually going to go somewhere, something that's going to benefit, you know, like not just you, but your community. And I think that, you know, $30 to $50 is a small ask. And so if you don't have it, of course, it's like you can't do what you can't do. But a lot of times we can sacrifice something small to be able to add to what, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I heard Charles Barkley, I do this, oh no, this Magic Johnson impersonation is on that. There's a couple people that won't appreciate this,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? Like where he was on down Saturday Night Live, he said, "Oh, you know, oh my goodness, if you take her toothpaste and you take his toothpaste and you take their toothpaste, then we got a whole lot of toothpaste." Like,
Oh, goodness.
so yo, we want to be able to put all of our, you know, all of our collective monies together, our, you know what I'm saying, like our support together to really come out and, you know what I'm saying, like and show out, yo. And this is something that, you know, there ain't gonna be no fights. There's not gonna be. It's all love. It's, you know what I mean. It's for a good cause. And I'm here to tell you that the music that you may stream is going to be excellent. If you look up Billy Powell, if you look up Church Boy on any streaming service, the music is going to be fire.
Absolutely.
But if you hear it live, you're going to ask the question, where can I purchase tonight? This is
like Ray. Oh yeah, we haven't recorded it yet.
yeah, so you know, so we're, you know what I mean, like, so I definitely want, you know, just want to be able to you know, to put it out there to everybody, and even after this is over, for the people that do the rewatch or watch whenever you get an opportunity, whenever you're hearing this, we're talking about it's happening on September the 9th. That's this coming Saturday. Get a babysitter. You know, if they're over 13, leave them at home if you trust them. If, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't, hey, bring them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need the Lord to get down on the inside of them like that Robitussin. Just let it get down in there to the bone. Like, so, you know what I mean? Like, yo, so we definitely want to do that. And so we, you know what I'm saying? We moving. We're gonna go quickly.
And we're also gonna do one here in Springfield.
Okay.
We're bringing it to Springfield too.
Nice.
It's going down, and I'll be at that one too because I live here. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to Hartford. But yeah, so just on the subject, because you know what I mean, like you have said much, but just for the purpose of being, you know what I'm saying, of rounding out our topic, and we gonna go to Siobhan after, is like, so what is, you know what I mean, like you feel is the difference that the Lord has made in your life, knowing that you have grown up in church, like your father was a pastor, your mom was a co-pastor. You've been there like the whole time, but we know that you can be in the church, but not in the church.
Oh yeah.
So what, you know what I mean? Like what would you say is the biggest? And I've just because of where we came from, I see the such a huge transformation. But I just want to talk about a little bit, like where, what the difference that the Lord has made in your life.
Man, one thing that he's done for me is ridding me of the sense of entitlement that some church people, especially those that were raised in church, carry around. That causes the world to look at us funny. You know, because many church people, we act like we better than everybody. You know, because we go to church. And I always say, you know, now my outlook is, I'm not better than you. I'm just better off because I got the directions.
That's a bummer.
It
know
is.
what I'm saying?
It really is.
Because we really, you know, just because you put on some shoulder pads and rhinestones don't make you no better than anybody.
That's right.
Shoulder.
And that's one of the things being a PK.
Preacher's kid. For
Yeah.
those that don't know.
Right.
Yep.
You know, that's one of the things that we carry. They used to say, "Oh, the preacher's kids is the worst ones in the church."
That's what they say.
You know,
That's what they say.
And
It's
you know,
true.
God,
I ain't gonna lie.
God really,
I was going to, but I won't.
right. God really, he really dealt with me in that. You know, of course, the lust thing, being a musician, shoot, I done seen and had the opportunity to do anything under the sun. You know, and once the Lord saved me for real, I started trying to fall in love. You know, instead of,
I get it.
you know what I mean? It was like, all right, yeah, I done did the wild, you know, just you know,
Sowing of the
Time to
wild
hang it up.
oats.
yeah, you know, it's like, yeah, and I thank God that, you know, I was able to, you know, not have had, you know, so much to where I got to worry about, you know, my children
Right.
and their interactions. One thing that I'm a firm believer in is that, you know, you don't, the scripture says, do unto the others as you would have them do unto you. So everybody ain't going to treat you right.
Right.
But I don't have to worry about, I don't have to accept fruit from seeds that I didn't sow.
Okay.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped sowing my wild oats in a timely fashion to where I can be, you know, a little different when it comes to what I have to accept. But God definitely, you know, he got rid of the stank of church to where I don't frown when I'm around non-believers. You know, I don't, you know,
I get you.
Yeah.
look down my nose at them
Right.
because I'm aware of my imperfections. You know, the self-righteousness that we can sometimes carry is deeper than smoking
Absolutely.
weed, deeper than lust. You acting like you God is worse. You acting like you can't make a mistake can sometimes be worse than actually making the mistake.
yeah.
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 You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing. Like, it's along the lines of what I was talking about on Sunday. Just basically like feeling. So like another thing like we do, I feel like preachers' kids do, or maybe it's just me. But basically holding yourself to a standard and not giving yourself grace. Like when God forgives you, God gives you grace.
Okay.
Like sometimes,
Or you can abuse it.
we can also abuse it, absolutely.
Yeah.
But for me, like a lot of times, like what I'll do is I'll rob myself of the grace that God's given me, just by like not choosing not to forgive myself or choosing to remember the things God has said He's forgotten.
Yeah.
And like it's a way that like I forfeit what God has given me. Like instead of the devil stealing it from me, I just gave it away. Like he brought it to my remembrance, and instead of me saying, "Well, God forgave me," like I can forgive myself too.
Right.
Accepting the fact that I did do this, now I have to sit in it, kind of thing. Which is important to know that God has the final say, and we have to be okay with His say. And that's something going back to tying what you said earlier, accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Being okay with God saying it's okay.
Right. That's the David effect, where this created me a clean heart.
Yes.
Come on.
Blot out all my iniquities.
Yep.
You know, he just because he know he messed up.
Right.
That was after.
He
That was
was
when
caught.
when
As
he
he
said,
put with
"Thou
Bathsheba.
art the man."
Right.
Kill Uriah.
Nathan was like, "That was you."
Yeah, that was you, brother.
Yeah, yo.
What you mean? Who was it? Who is
He
it?
said that man should be killed.
Right.
Stone him.
Nigga, it was you.
So, you know, and so, yo, like I definitely that's
yeah.
bringing us right to where we go. Go ahead.
Let me just say what Chef Meg said. She had a couple good points. First, going back to the concert, she said her cousin passed away suddenly from acute leukemia. None of us, including him, knew he had it. So
Wow.
just tagging back on the you don't know who you might be helping.
Yes,
Jesus.
And then the last thing
it's
that I
fast moving.
another thing she said was preacher kids definitely don't give themselves grace, and if not dealt with God's way, we can self-sabotage sometimes.
Oh, for sure. I could
Listen.
write a book about that. Mike, well,
Definitely.
go ahead, Siobhan.
What?
Why do you?
Nah, because he was. I didn't think he was done reading.
Oh, I can read.
I thought you
this.
said
I was gonna
lastly.
read it too, but I can keep going.
Okay, go ahead.
I got you. So Chef Meg's tagging on. Don't put yourself in compromising situations. Abstinence does not mean deliverance, but to get your deliverance, you have to be positioned to receive it.
My God,
And then she said something earlier.
I've spoken like a missionary.
I'm about to say just
She's
crawl
preaching.
in.
She brought up I think the saints mean well when they use that scripture. It's better to marry than to burn. But some people have married just because of it
It's
and ended
dangerous.
up in a worse situation.
Oh, yes.
Which is also very true.
So I think that we got to also with that bring in obedience is better than sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, for real.
Right.
What else did she say? The devil isn't going to try you in the area you're strong in. He's cunning with your weaknesses. The
Yeah.
Bible also goes into that we're not deceived by things that we don't desire. That it's our desires that basically lure us into sin.
Right.
It's you're tried by your own desires. But yeah, that's it. Okay.
Okay.
That's why you gotta watch what you eat.
Yeah.
That too.
Watch what you hear.
That's-
Listen. Eye gates, ear
Stuff.
gates.
Yeah.
Chill with the ice cream.
So, I mean, so everyone has kind of touched on things that I could identify with as something that I believe God has saved me from. I think even recently I mentioned to you, like, I was praying one day and I was like, oh, I think I need to be delivered from lust. And, the Spirit very clearly said to me, is like, do you even know what lust means? Because I was trying to identify with something that I wasn't even dealing with. But because I was hearing it so much. And so, I thought something that I was feeling was that. And he's just like, that's not what that is. I was like, oh. All right, so let's dive deeper. And so dealing with that, dealing with trying to identify, listen, so I just recently really got deeper with my walk with God, like full surrender, like every day I'm like, Lord, all right, I'm choosing you,
Absolutely.
So I have almost overdone it a little bit where it's like, it's something that I want that bad where, I mean, like we were just mentioning self-sabotage. It's like, I feel like I'm not even worthy of the things that he's even shown me.
Right.
The things that he's told me about. So, like I said, I was trying to identify with something that wasn't even my problem. But one thing for sure that I know I was, I'll say plagued with, was my anxiety. And before I went back to church but let me not even say went back to church. Before I renewed my relationship with God and really put effort into my relationship with God, I was just kind of all over the place, and I was letting my anxiety rule my life. You know, I was letting it dictate how I was moving. So I started smoking. So, you know, similar to, you know, things that what you were dealing with. I had tried weed in high school. Wasn't phased. I could care less. Maybe because I'm Jamaican. I don't know.
Put that stigma on us, dog.
But it wasn't
Half
like
of
I
me
was
is
like,
upset with you about saying that.
but you know, smoked a little in college. It wasn't that I didn't care for it. I liked it, but it wasn't something that I felt like I needed. But something, you know, life was lifing, and I had gotten to a point where I needed to not feel what I was feeling at the times I was feeling it, and I felt like every time I smoked, I could mitigate those feelings. So I would smoke, and I would get to a place where it's just like I feel like I can handle anything. But in reality, I was just pacifying. Like it was a temporary fix. Man, I remember I took a couple edibles before I started going back to church. I couldn't even get to church without. Listen.
She told, and can I? I'm not even.
Go ahead.
Because, you know, this is on real talk. You're not making this up. She did say, and it did make sense to me at the time, but I still understood. When I was like, oh man, like dag, you know what I mean? Like, cause I felt like I would just be too scared to do it. But she had come to watch night service like 2 years ago?
Yep.
And it's like, yo, I had to take an edible before I even came there because my like this the anxiety of, you know what I mean, like just the aspect of it. It was really that tough.
It was. It was like, because I'm like, yo, I don't, and it wasn't that I felt like people were looking at me in any particular way, but I just knew the life that I was living, and I knew better to an extent. So like, even, I didn't know where to start when I had the desire to go back. I didn't know where to start. And I'm like, yo, how do I do this? And I worked myself up so much. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go, and the only way I can be there is if I take these edibles. But you know, after some time, you know, I was able to go some Sundays without it, and then just one Sunday, it just so happened to be spring conference. I was there, and I was like, yo, I'm tired. Like I'm really tired of the things that like I wasn't even doing anything per se, but I was just tired of feeling like I couldn't handle myself. And I had gone up for prayer. I just wanted to be prayed for, and like I'll say my life changed that day. Like it was just I have not felt anxiety in the ways that I have over the last few years since that day. And I can genuinely say that like I was delivered. And you know, and it doesn't happen like that for everybody. Listen, you know, let's be clear. It doesn't happen like that for everyone, that instantaneous like deliverance. But for that particular situation, it happened. And I was like, yo, life is so different.
Yeah.
It's so different. Like it was very easy for me to you know, stop relying on marijuana. It was habitual, so like it was more recreational in thought. I didn't need it, but like the times when I was like, oh, this would be a time I would smoke, and you know, that those feelings just kind of passed away, and I'm grateful for that. And as the anxiety has gone away, there's just like a slew of other things that I'm just like, yo, I feel like there are a lot of times I feel like I can conquer so much more of what life has been since the anxiety has gone. You know, I know I've spoke on this before. You know, the fact that, you know, I had a child that passed away. So it's, this year will be 9 years since that happened, and for 7, almost 8 years, I had let it overtake me in a way where it was just like, what are you living for? You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't living. I had lost a lot of identity and stuff like that. So, I will say that not only did God save me from like my anxiety, but He's given me identity. And it's such a big deal. Like,
New identity.
completely new, transformative,
Transformative.
completely new identity. Like, I had been praying at one point, like, yo, God, show me how you see me. Show me how you see me. And He did it in this weird way where He just kept allowing my pastor to tell me who I was and to tell the congregation who I was. I didn't want to believe it, but He just couldn't stop doing it.
Can I say something right there?
Yes.
That's what the scripture says. The Holy Spirit is like a mirror. When the mirror shows up, it don't show you. When you look in the mirror, you don't see nobody but yourself.
Right. Right.
And so when the Holy Spirit shows up, whether it's through your pastor or through speaking to you, it's going to show you you. And some believers have tricked themselves into thinking that they're all right when they look in the mirror. Like they're in the looking in the funhouse mirror.
Yeah.
You appear skinny when you really fat. But the Holy Spirit is going to show you. And you said it. As you were saying it, the scripture was just, the Holy Spirit is as of a mirror. So you look and you can see what you need to change, what needs to change about you, or what you should become, what you should be seeing, the way God sees you.
Yes.
You're right. You're on the right track. You're right.
And it's dope. I can't, like, if I've never said it, I'm gonna say it now. Try Jesus. It is. It's all right.
About the wrong song.
I know where you were going. I know where you were going, but I could never say that it's an easy walk, but it's a worthy walk. Like, it's so worth it, man. I tell you, there's the peace that I have in this newness. It's amazing because I didn't have peace. I didn't allow myself to have peace. I didn't think I deserved peace. But God showed me I was deserving of everything that He has for me. So, yeah.
That's really dope. And it's crazy because even though what everybody's saying is different, we're finding out that the Bible is right when it talks about Jesus being the same yesterday, today, and forever. Because He's, because He's bringing you from this place to this place. Even in places I hear people saying, I didn't think that I deserved to be here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I became accountable and understood this, and God did this, and you know what I mean? Like, so many examples of God not giving us what we necessarily deserve, but Him giving us what He wants for us to have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're talking about just being in different places and then becoming the people that you see. We got, you know what I'm saying, like elder, minister, missionary / prophetess, where, you know what I'm saying, like, and so we're, you know what I mean, like, where it's very, but this is a walk that we're walking every single day.
Absolutely.
And so even though you have this title or you're in a leadership position, you're still a human being, and there's things that you know what I mean, like, you can say, like, nobody would probably guess that you felt like you had to do that, and whether it was anxiety, social anxiety, and these things, like, I need an edible, I can't even be around church people, I can't be around this crowd, like, you know what I'm saying, like, I need, you know what I mean, like, I gotta smoke, I gotta do this stuff, like, you know what I mean, like, He's brought us all from somewhere. I think, you know what I mean, like, there's a lot of things that, you know what I mean, like, that all of us can say. And for me, like, I was just thinking about, I was just talking about this the other day, where the Lord has actually brought me from is too long to, you know what I'm saying, like, to say on His platform, but it's like a big difference, you know what I mean, like, in really living saved is the difference that I see in my life today. Everything is not perfect. Everything is not the way that I want it to be. I'm, you know, so I can say that I'm walking in my purpose, but I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got still troubles, and I've heard everybody say that, oh no, that's does not automatically make life easy because you
Right.
choose this walk. But what I can say is that, I don't have to deal with anxiety the way that I did before. There was sometimes I wouldn't be able to sleep. I had to drink a lot of alcohol to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to sleep comfortably. I had to go, you know what I mean? Like, just being out with coworkers, being somebody that, you know what I mean? Like a person that I never was. Going like and just to be able to get away, but you know what I'm saying, drinking until it became like something that I was doing most nights out of the week. You know what I'm saying, like working long hours to try to run away from this stuff. And it's like, people expect so much out of you, and you feel that pressure, that you're not living up to that one. But one of the greatest things that the Lord has done for me thus far, which is why even in my struggle today, I'm struggling in a different way. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I would choose this over where I was, is because where I was, I thought that I would never be able to be out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have made such a mess that I didn't think that the Lord would even want to be, that He would want to help me out of where I was. I can tell you that I was tangled up in so many things that it was like, if you see like a ball of string, it's like, yo, I'll never get all of these strands unraveled. You know what I mean? Like, and the Lord really has done all of that. Just to, I was talking to somebody, might have been Siobhan, the other day, and was saying like how, somebody from my past came and said, and they were like, yo, they said, like, you're this and that, because they were angry and just trying to say things. They're like, I'll expose you and I'll do such and such and such. And I didn't even feel any anxiety when they said that sentence, because I know that the life that I'm living is such that nobody can say that that I'm out here doing anything nefarious. And it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, I didn't feel no type of way. And so I can say, like, you can you can say what used to happen. You can say all of that stuff, but you know what I mean? Like, but I don't have to be there with you. I'm definitely not where you left me at.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yo, you can't address me in the same place if I don't live there. I don't have, you know what I mean? Like, and so it's like, yo, all of that stuff did happen. Absolutely. But at the end of that sentence, everything that you want to say about my past, you have to add at the end, but God.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, and because He's the only one that could have got me out of where I was. And we're talking about not just being don't let nobody tell you that alcohol is not addictive, because when you're chasing a feeling, like, and this is the only thing that seems to be able to get you to that place, you're going to be addicted to it, because you want to be in a state of peace when you can't find it anywhere else.
Yep.
And so, you know what I mean? Like, so we're talking about brought me out of that. Somebody that was never able to be, you know what I'm saying? And I was married and not able to be faithful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was faithful for stretches, but never, it's like for, my entire relationship, we had issues. I'm not going to say that it ended because of me, but I definitely took part in the ending of that relationship.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was disobedient on so many levels. I was never able to hold on to the Lord long enough for Him to do what He wanted in my life. And so, you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes I even lament that, because I'm like, oh, I could have done such and such way sooner. But the same way that I believe in God's transformative work, I also believe that He does everything that He does when He wants to and how He wants to. And so I can't even say, oh, I could have done this earlier, because, God's perfect timing, if we're going to be in His perfect will, we're going to believe that. We have to know that He has had all information at all times. And so nothing that we've done has surprised Him. And you know what I mean? Like, and so I had to get to that, like that knowing in that place, but have been able to be so consistent with Him that I'm able to see His transformative work in my life, evidenced by the fact that even when the old stuff might pop up, is, you know what I'm saying, we know that the enemy is the accuser of the brethren, but you can accuse me of whatever you want to, but that is what I am saved from. I'm not still in that, so you can't, you know what I mean? Like, and so, but there was a point in time where I didn't think that I would be able to get past those things, even in my mind, because I still remember, and you know what I mean? And it's just so amazing to look and see what it is that the Lord really did. And so, you know what I mean? Like, from just being somebody, and I'm sure that you guys, because you musicians as well. Not so much Vaughn, but me and harmonica. But we, but it's like when you feel like I'm doing this thing for God, but you're like so you're writing songs, you're playing music, but you're not like you're doing it to to His glory, but you're also doing it unto your own glory because you're not like you're not necessarily able to help to change anybody else because what you're singing about can't be genuine when you're not living it. It can't, what I'm saying? Like all of the lyrics that you write is great, like, but when it's not something that's actually a part of your life, you know what I mean? Like it can only have such, so much of an effect because there was, like, there was times when we could sing songs, we could perform songs, but we weren't able to minister songs. And so you know what I mean, like, and with everything that like everything that I'm doing right now, I can say is to His glory. Anytime, like, anytime if I go out to do anything, I know that I'm able to minister this thing because because my desire to be a worshiper is not just in song. And we talking about in spirit and in truth. I'm talking about I'm worshiping Him with the way that I live. I'm worshiping Him by my obedience. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is something that I was not always able to say. And so even saying these sentences gives me such a feeling of victory on the inside, even though I'm not like He hasn't brought me to where He's going to take me. I can feel, like His joy is my strength in that He's already done so much. This can't be the end because you would not bring me out of these things to just be out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You didn't bring me this far just to be this far. And so, I can really say that I'm thankful for the work that He's done in me, the work that He continues to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about godly integrity. We're talking about godly character. And those are things that only come by Him. When you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter who's around. The things that I do, I know that He sees everything that I do. And so that stuff matters. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, even if nobody is around it, like, I'm big on accountability because, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so just being able to be accountable to the Lord means so much. And this is not a place that I always was. And so I'm just thankful, for that. And so we talking about, being saved, where did God bring you from? No, I never thought that I was going to be the guy that was going to be preaching in nobody's church. I never thought that I was going to be the guy that's able to, what I'm saying, like to lay hands on nobody and be, what I'm saying? Like, I never thought that I was going to be, somebody that, that had that enjoyed reading, where they had a real joy, a hunger and a thirst to do that. I never thought that I was going to be somebody with integrity, that was going to be able to, like to live the way that I present it. You know what I'm saying? We wear suits and we get haircuts and we buy dope shoes, but really allowing God to do the work from the inside. It's like, it don't matter what I got. Like, he'll allow me, he'll work through me in gym shorts and slides. You know what I mean? Like, because, because He's really in there.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's, like, just being thankful for the fact that He's doing these things and what He's done. It even makes me just want to surrender even more, if that's possible. And I'm constantly asking Him, wherever, like, because I'm fully surrendered. There's nothing in my life that you can't have. But in the event that you see something that you don't like, in the event that you see something that's not so, I need you to let me know, because you can have that thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, I need you to know that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm living to live again. So, you know what I mean? Like, and you might say to yourself, it doesn't take all that. And I don't know if you're right, but guess what? I would rather be safe than sorry.
Yep.
But I am going to live this way. And if I find out when I get to heaven that He didn't care about me smoking weed, that's fine, because I'll be already in heaven. Right. And I'll say, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, in the same way, we have insurance, and some of us never get into accidents, but we pay all that money every month, every year, just in case. And so you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the year,
we don't ask for it back.
We don't get no money back from the insurance. We like, but it's a good thing that I had it, because just in case something happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's so just, like I said, being thankful to the Lord for the work that He's done. And as you've heard, like, He's done it in all of us, and He's no respecter of person. You know what I mean? Like, He draws near to those that draw near unto Him. And so we want, and so we're just hoping that everybody that's listening, whenever you listen, I think that this will be relevant. If you listen to it a year from now, it's not gonna, again, Jesus is gonna be the same. And so we're just hoping that it would, affect you, maybe, inspire you to salvation, inspire you to want to go deeper in Christ, inspire you, to do some things that you haven't done, and know that, the things that you think that you can't get over, the things that you think that you won't be delivered from, you don't have to do that alone. All you need is a made up mind, and the Lord will be more than an assistant. He'll be able to, like when he talking about lifting up a standard, he can also lift up your standard of holiness to the standard that he wants you to live to. And so it is late, and we want to thank Church Boy Billy Powell, aka Billy Powell, aka Elder Billy Powell, like the artist, the man, the myth. You know what I mean? Like, and again, come through to Hartford, 3200 Main Street, September the 9th. Doors open at 4, and the concert will start at 5 p.m. Make sure that you come through, get swabbed, stay for the concert. $30, $50 for VIP. We really want to make sure that that everybody gets out there. And even after this broadcast, even after the 9th, it's a concert series. So it's coming, and it may be coming somewhere near you. So make sure that you visit him, his Instagram, One Church Music, and Billy Powell for real. I'm pretty sure he'll be posting it. But and so we're gonna get out. Just thank you for coming through.
Man,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Thank you.
it's
Yes.
been a pleasure, man. Everything that you said, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this. You have dropped some
Nah,
serious
for
jewels,
real.
bro.
It
And
was
so,
good.
and so we're about to be out, but like always, we'll be back next week, 8:30, same bad time, same bad channel. Until the next time, allow Jesus to be the lotion that lathers your ashy soul.
I love it.
It's always the internet.
What I was gonna say was you said they tried to bring up get past. So they never tried to kill Paul until he stopped persecuting Christians.
Ooh, good point.
Bro.
What do you preach?
They
What
never-
days do you preach? Let me come down to where you at.
They never stopped. They never tried to kill him until he stopped persecuting Christians. As soon as he got saved and met Jesus, all of a sudden they want his head.
That's right.
So
All of a sudden, he the bad guy.
he the
Right.
bad guy. You on the right track if they trying to kill you. Man, I got it.
You got
I'm
the
having to go to the bathroom since we said
play the music.
that's that old man stuff.
That one's not on.
My mind, my soul belongs to you. And Lord, I would want nothing more than to be used by you. So, Lord, please consider me as one of the ones to take the reins and use all that you've given me to break the devil's power and chains. So, give me the song and I'll sing it like I mean it. Please give me the words and I'll say them like I mean